If you're someone who takes too much action, who is overly hustling, who tries to control things, and who is overly logical, or even if you're on the other side of the spectrum where you're not taking enough action, you're not creating structure in your life, or you're not assertive in yourself, you are only repelling your desires instead of attracting them. More action does not always mean more results, and not enough action leads to you feeling stuck. There's a reason why things in your life feel hard to obtain or like they're forced. And there's a reason why you always feel burnt out. Being too much in your masculine energy or not enough in it could very easily be the reason why things are not just flowing for you. In this video, we are going to go over the signs that you're either too much in your masculine energy or not enough in it. We're also going to go over how to heal your masculine energy and how to work with it to bring in more flow, more ease into your life. And lastly, I'm going to show you how to use this energy to work for you so that you can bring your desires into your reality. The first thing we're going to do is clear up a couple of myths. Myth number one is that women don't need masculine energy. This is completely false and just simply not true. Women need masculine energy just as much as we need feminine energy. It is through masculine energy that we are able to be independent and provide for ourselves. This is how you take action towards your goals. It's how you lead, and it's how you can be strategic and logical when making decisions. It's also how you create structure and safety in your life as a woman. Masculine and feminine energy do not have a gender, and this is where a lot of people get it mixed up. We all have both energies within ourselves. The thing is that these two energies are meant to coexist in harmony. You shouldn't be too much in one or not enough in one. Myth number two is that women in their masculine energy are too much or too dominant. And okay, yes, if you're in your wounded masculinity, you can come off as controlling and as disconnected from your emotions. You can come off as forceful even. But society also tends to label being assertive, independent, and confident in yourself as intimidating or too masculine, when this is just a projection. Things are not like they used to be, where only men were leaders, where only men worked, where only men were the providers. A woman in her healthy masculine energy is grounded. She is focused. She stands in her boundaries. She's also self-led, which is not too much at all. This just means that you are self-assured and that you are freaking powerful. Before we get into the signs that you're disconnected from your masculine energy, let's first talk about what masculine energy actually is. Masculine energy is the energy that leads, that protects, that provides, and it's also what creates direction and purpose in your life. It's the part of you that is logical, that is action-orientated, and that creates structure in your life so that everything is not just a mess and has no direction. Masculine energy is the doing. It's also being rooted and present. I actually dive into masculine energy a lot deeper in the Feminine Within workbook that I created. I'll link that down below if you want to take a look. Masculine energy is the shell on an egg, which I'll tell you more about at the end of the video. But basically, masculine energy is the tree trunk. It's the part that is sturdy, safe, and grounded. Because remember, the feminine is the dreamer, the intuitive. Okay, let's finally get into the signs. And the way that I'm going to do this is that I'm going to go over 5 signs that you're either too much in your masculine energy and 5 signs that you're either not enough in your masculine energy. This is important because this is how you're going to know for you specifically if you either need to lean in more into your masculinity or lean out of it. Let's go over the 5 signs that you're not enough in your masculine energy first. The first one being that you feel a lack of direction or purpose in your life. This is when you feel unclear about what you're supposed to be doing in your life, what decisions to make, what path to take. This is also when you feel unmotivated or you're constantly changing your mind about things. Maybe today you decide that you're going to start a business, and then tomorrow you see someone doing something else and you say, maybe I should do that. It's when you don't feel inspired or motivated enough to take action towards your goals, even if it's small steps that you're taking. You sort of procrastinate or lack that ambition. Sign number 2 that you're not enough in your masculine energy is that you struggle to take action or to make decisions. And this actually relates to me a lot because for me, I was not enough in my masculine energy. I had to work and heal my masculine energy in embodying it more. When you struggle to take action or make decisions, and this sort of ties in with number one, is basically when you overthink, when you procrastinate. This is when you wait for other people to lead you, to tell you what to do. This is when you're waiting for permission to start the business, to get into the relationship, to start the gym or whatever it is that you want to do. You need something outside of yourself, someone else to push you, to get you to do it. This also means that you could avoid making commitments or that you feel too indecisive. You're constantly unsure of what to do, when to do it, and you remain stuck because of this. Indecisiveness was one of the biggest things that kept me stagnant for years. I constantly did not know what to do, and I would constantly seek and ask other people for their opinion on what I should do about my life, to the point that I ended up doing things simply because others told me or because I saw other people doing it instead of doing whatever I felt in my heart that I should do. Sign number 3 that you are not in your masculine energy is that you don't feel safe or you feel ungrounded. This means that you don't feel protected or safe, whether it's emotionally, physically, or financially. There's basically no stability in your inner or outer world. And I can actually speak and attest to this one because when I started my business and I wasn't really making any money yet, I felt very unsafe and very ungrounded. I didn't know how or when I was going to start making income, but really the biggest thing was that I didn't trust in myself enough to know that I am capable, that I am smart enough, that I can be logical and strategic enough to get myself out of that situation where I wasn't making enough money. Instead, I would pray, I would hope, I would wish that things would change for me without really taking the action that I needed to take to get me there. Sign number 4 is that you don't have structure, logic, or discipline. Oh my goodness, like these really relate to me because these are things that I really struggled with for quite some time. When it came to the word discipline, when it came to having structure, these two words were like my enemies. I repelled these two words. I did not want to be disciplined. It was too hard, too uncomfortable, and creating structure felt impossible. As much as I tried to have a routine, to follow my to-do list, to have a Google Calendar, to have all these things that would help me create structure, like waking up earlier, going to sleep earlier, it just seemed like I would try and they would never stick around. I wouldn't be consistent enough with it, which is another thing that happens when you're disconnected or not enough in your masculine energy. You don't have consistency in your life in the way that you show up. So you might feel really uncomfortable knowing that you have to be disciplined or that you have to have structure, because when you're in your masculine energy, you have a routine. You work smart, not hard. The other thing with not really being logical is that you rely more on your emotions rather than your logic when making decisions, which then leads you to making really impulsive decisions. Boy, was this me. As soon as I felt something, if I felt inspired, if I felt a rush of emotion to start something, to send a text, to start the gym, to start eating healthier, to do this and do that, I would do it, right? And great, you're acting on that calling, you're acting on that emotion. But that's not always a great thing. You also have to analyze. You also have to be strategic. You also have to think about the pros and cons. If I do this, what will happen? What is my plan? And of course, you want to have a combination of being open and allowing things to flow, but you also don't want to just jump at things with no action, no plan. This is what happened to me when I first started my business. I quit my corporate job of 6 years because I felt this calling to start teaching, to start leading, to start creating content and sharing my voice and all these wonderful things, but I did it without a plan. So a year and a half in, when I still wasn't making any progress at all, really, no income was coming in, I figured out, okay, great, I acted on that calling and that emotion, but I didn't have a plan. I didn't create structure. I didn't say, okay, within 3 months or 6 months, I should be making X, Y, and Z amount of money, or within this time, I should see this much progress. I was just going day by day. based on how I felt. And so I had to learn the hard way that sometimes you do have to be logical as well. Number 5 is going to be that you have a difficult time setting or enforcing your boundaries. This is you saying yes when you actually mean no. This is you people pleasing. And I'll give you an example in terms of relationships because it's where you typically see it come up the most. When you're not in your masculine energy and you don't know how to set boundaries, you allow relationships and even loved ones to drain you of your energy. You're constantly doing things for them and you feel like you're doing it because you're a good person and it's coming from your heart, but you're doing it at the expense of yourself. Maybe you're actually tired and you don't want to help them cook that meal. Maybe you want some time for yourself, but instead you're doing your partner's laundry. Maybe you're not in the mood to go out, but they kept insisting, so you go out either way. When you lack masculine energy, you have no boundaries. You lack self-assertiveness. You're not confident in yourself enough. You don't have that force to stand up for yourself. Okay, let's go over the 5 signs that you are too much in your masculine energy. The first one is going to be that you're always in go mode. And you see this a lot nowadays, specifically in women. You never really slow down or rest, or you never really allow yourself to just be. Hustling becomes your identity, and being productive defines your worth. You feel like if you're not taking action, if you're not doing something, you're not being good enough. You're not being efficient. And this completely wrecks your nervous system, my love. Doing more does not always mean achieving more. Sign number 2 that you are too much in your masculine energy is that you suppress your emotions or you avoid being vulnerable. This is when you avoid allowing yourself to be seen as a vulnerable person, whether it's you being new at something or you actually physically crying. The whole word gives you chills and it's uncomfortable because you don't want to be seen as weak, or you consider being emotional as weak. Some women even dismiss their feelings and say it's illogical. And just ask yourself, when was the last time you had a really good cry? When was the last time you actually allowed yourself feel something other than anger and resentment? When was the last time you sat with yourself, showed compassion to yourself, and allowed yourself to express, to release, to feel without judgment, without control, without vulnerability, and without guilt? Sign number 3 that you're too much in your masculine energy is that you are overly controlling or that you micromanage certain thing or everything. This is you resisting surrender. This is you wanting to plan every single detail. This is also you struggling to trust in other people or in the universe. Have you ever met someone, or maybe it's yourself, that doesn't allow other people to do things for them because they always say, oh, I could do it a lot better. I'm just going to do it myself because they're not going to do it in the way that I want it to be done. That is you controlling. Let's say that you had a date plan. Maybe it's a picnic or at a restaurant, and you had a way in which you wanted everything to go, from the reservation that you made or the utensils that you got for the picnic, and for whatever reason, things end up going differently. Maybe the table that you wanted is not available. Maybe the spot where you wanted to have the picnic at was also not available. If you're overly controlling, this is something that is going to extremely upset you, and you may just want to cancel everything. Instead of saying, okay, yes, that was unfortunate. Yes, that is upsetting, but I'm not going to allow it to ruin my mood in this experience. And you allow it to be. But a controlling person would not see it this way. Sign number 4 that you're too much in your masculine energy is that you are disconnected from your intuition and your body. This is a huge one, specifically for my girlies. Your intuition is everything. It is your inner compass. It is your guidance. It is what tells you that something's wrong, that something's right. It is what leads you in life. It's that gut feeling that tells you, run, turn around, don't be with this person. Be with this person. Make this decision. Don't make that decision. It is literally where you get your life force. It is literally how you know what path is for you and what it's not. It's just that a lot of us are not in tune with it, or not familiar with listening to it. So when you're disconnected from your intuition or your body, this is you living in your head. Maybe you overanalyze. Maybe you are an overthinker. This is you ignoring that gut feeling that tells you that something was going to happen, and then you end up saying to yourself, oh my God, I knew that was going to happen. This is you not being soft open. This is you not being connected to your sensuality. When you feel like your body is asking you to rest, to slow down, do you actually listen to it or you just keep going? When your body is telling you that it is not feeling safe around a certain person, do you continue to be around that certain person or do you withdraw and remove yourself? And even with the things that you eat, the things that you're putting into your body, there are certain things where your body will thank you for and things where it does not. Are you paying attention to these cues? If you're not, the answer is that you were too much in your masculine energy and disconnected from your body. Sign number 5 that you're too much in your masculine energy, and one that is very popular but people don't know about, is burnout, being overly stressed, and feeling a lot of tension. Your nervous system is on edge. You feel tired, overwhelmed, and disconnected from flow, from life, from joy. It's like your routine feels overwhelming. There's not really a lot of play or a lot of pleasure in your life. When was the last time you felt connected to your inner child, where your day-to-day felt exciting and fun, even if it's boring, even if it's just you going to work or taking a shower or cooking? Are these things more so stressful to you, overwhelming, and burn you out, where you always feel exhausted and tired, no matter how much you sleep, no matter how much you rest? Although I'm someone who was not enough in their masculine energy, this is something that I had as well, because this is the other thing. You can have some signs from the not enough in your masculine energy, and you can have some of the signs from the too much in your masculine energy. And for me, this was definitely one that I had, is that I was always burnt out, always overwhelmed by my routine, and no matter what, I was never really having fun. I was very disconnected from my inner child, from play, from joy. And bringing play and joy is so simple. It's as simple as dancing around when you're in the shower, singing when you're cooking, watching your favorite show as you're folding laundry, blowing bubbles on a random Tuesday in your bedroom and jumping around with excitement. But of course, most importantly, when it comes to burnout, one of the main reasons it's because you're so disconnected and far from your feminine energy, from that joy, from that play, that all you know is go, go, go. In the Feminine Within workbook that I created, I actually show you exactly how feminine energy affects you in all areas of your life. And of course, I also show you how to work with it. So if you want to dive in a more direct way into all of this, I'll leave the link below for you to take a look. Okay, now let's go over a couple of tips on how to heal your wounded masculine energy. The first thing you want to do is get to the root cause of why it is that your masculine energy is wounded to begin with. Figure out if you're too much in your masculine energy or not enough in it based on the signs that I gave you above. Just as I shared, for me, it was that I was not enough in my masculine energy. So then I figured out, okay, I just need to be more in my masculine energy. I need to embody it more. I need to show up a little bit more masculine, like taking action, creating structure, being a leader, being confident and self-assured. So evaluate your own behavior and see, are you disconnected or are you too much in it? Tip number 2 in healing your masculine energy is to build self-trust. And it doesn't matter if you're too much in it or not enough in it. Building self-trust is essential either way. And the most simplest way to building self-trust is simply by keeping the promises you make to yourself. I mean, think about it. What makes you respect and trust in someone? It is when they keep their word. It is when they do what they say they will do. This is no different when you're working on the relationship with yourself. The third thing you can do to heal your masculine energy is to create a routine, to create structure in your life. And the purpose of this is to do it in a way where it's not going to feel forced, or where it's not going to feel like you have to be disciplined, you have to be structured. This could be something as simple as taking more time in the morning so that you're not rushing out the door in the morning looking for your keys, looking for your shoes. This is you instead allowing yourself more time to eat your breakfast slowly, peacefully. This is you also creating an intentional night routine where you ease into bed, not scrolling on your phone until the last minute, but more so maybe journaling, putting some nice relaxing music, taking a nice warm bath, and also allowing flexibility, of course, for unexpected things to happen. Okay, tip number 4 to heal your masculine energy is going to be to get clear and direction about your life and what you want to do. You want to get clear on what your intentions, your goals, your desires are in terms of your career, your relationships, and your personal connection. What is it that matters to you? What is it that sparks you up? What do you want out of life? Don't just assume that you want something. direction. Be clear on what it is that you want. The only reason why you don't feel you have direction in your life, or you don't know what you want, or you don't know what path you're on, is because you're unclear on what you want. Do you want to be married within the next 5 years, ideally? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you want to be a manager? Do you want to own your own property? Do you want to live in another country? Do you want to be a singer? These are things that you should certainly take the time to reflect and journal on. Tip number 5 is going to be forgiveness. Oh my goodness. So when it comes to masculine energy, there is this aggression, right, that comes with that as well. At least when you think about way back in the day when we had wars going on, there was a lot of aggression, a lot of fight or flight. It is also your survival instinct. So part of that still lives within us because we were built this way to survive, to fight back. However, that is not the case any longer. Specifically as a woman, and really for men as well, of course, for anyone, we need to be able to forgive and let go, because that will only hinder you and hold you back. That will only block your heart. So, is there anyone in your life that you need to forgive, or maybe you need to forgive yourself? Is there anything that you still hold resentment of? Anything that you still have anger towards? And if so, work on doing affirmations, on speaking to yourself about letting go. This is you reaffirming yourself. I let go. I no longer have to hold this emotion over you. I no longer have to judge you over this. I no longer have to be attached to this anger, to this pain, to this judgment. I release it and I let go. I forgive you, not for you, but for myself. And maybe for them as well, because if you're aware enough, you know that although people do unfair things, they do it simply because they are a victim of their own mentality, of their own environment as well, because they too have their own traumas. This is a really big one, so dive into it. If there's any work around forgiveness, maybe it's a parent, maybe it's an ex-lover, maybe it's a friend, maybe it's yourself, but it's so important to let go and forgive people. Tip number 6 is going to be that if you're too much in your masculine energy, as I mentioned earlier, you want to embody more, bring out more of your feminine energy. This means you being more compassionate, more nurturing, more open, more sensitive to people and yourself. And of course, I have an entire video on feminine energy, which I'll link somewhere here and also down below for you to check out if you're someone that feels like they need to embody more of that softness. And tip number 7, if you're not enough in your masculine energy, as I mentioned before, the goal here is to embody and bring out more of your masculine self. This is you being more assertive, taking control of your life. This is you leading your life. This is you creating stability by knowing that you can provide and take care of yourself. This is you being ambitious and action orientated. Moral of the story is that masculine and feminine energy are two beautiful and powerful, perfect, complementary energies that are meant to coexist in harmony and balance. But that's the thing. They are meant to coexist in balance. And without balance, there's destruction. Without balance, you don't know your self-worth. You don't know what you're capable of. You allow your limiting beliefs to get the best of you and to hold you back. And also, the other thing that I want to throw out there for you to remember is that as you learn more about healing and embodying your feminine energy, your masculine energy, the light, the dark, and all these aspects, is that you can have a combination of both, or of some and not of others. You know what I mean? So it could be that you have light feminine energy and masculine energy, but you're not in your dark feminine energy. This is the type of woman that is very submissive, nurturing, loving, mothering even in relationships, and that is also hardworking. She's also, let's say, a manager, or she's very ambitious, but she doesn't have dark feminine energy, so she doesn't set boundaries. She doesn't stand up for herself. She's not really self-assured, at least not in relationships or in some other area. You can be someone who is in their dark feminine energy and masculine energy, but not in their light feminine energy. This is a type of woman that is a bit more aggressive, a bit more out there and outspoken. She can be a little bit more assertive, but sort of like in the negative, wounded way, where she's controlling, manipulative, where she gaslights people. These are the type of women that you see even being physically or verbally abusive 𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂𝒂. And this is because she lacks light feminine energy, the side of her that is compassionate, that is present, that is nurturing, that is loving, that is open, that flows, that trusts. So with all of these examples, I just want you to fill out where you are in your journey, what's missing, what you have some of, what you need to maybe release a little of and step more into. Maybe it's your light feminine energy. Maybe it's your dark feminine energy. Maybe it's your masculine energy. Maybe it's all together. Okay, my love. So I now want to dive into how to bring ease and flow into your life through your masculinity. Working with your masculine energy, it is about harnessing this energy. It's basically making it work for you. And this shouldn't feel restrictive or forced. Because remember that without masculine energy, there is no structure. There is no support in your life. Think of masculine energy as an egg. The yolk inside of the egg would just be a blob on the floor if it didn't have the outer shell, which the outer shell is the masculine energy. The inner part, the yolk, is the feminine energy, which is fluid and soft. But the thing is that without the yolk, the shell would be broken in pieces. It would be empty inside with nothing to fulfill it. This is why they're both so important. So you're going to use masculine energy to bring your dreams to reality. The feminine is what dreams about everything that is possible. The dream business, the fairy tale love, the perfect fit body, the dream car, the dream vacation. And the masculine is what puts in the work. It's a part of you that gets up and gets things done. This is you going to the bank to set up the business account to start that business. This is you knowing your worth in order to attract the right person into your life. This is you consistently going to the gym. And this is you booking that freaking vacation instead of just hoping that somehow all of this will happen, instead of just dreaming about it in your head. Do you feel me? So you work with it by integrating it. And when you integrate masculine energy in a healthy way, this is truly how you create the life of your dreams. All right, my loves, that is all for today. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And until the next one, bless